name is Phil Rees. I've spent much of my career meeting men and women called terrorists in the West. It used to be said that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. But after 9/11, that seemed to change.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Western politicians list dozens of terrorist organizations. I'll be breaking bread with those labeled terrorists by the West and ask, when does a man have the right to fight without being called a terrorist? Over 1,300 dead. Over 400 of them children. An invasion committed in the name of a so-called war on terror.
This is an ongoing, long war against terror.
When a people are not free, do they have the right to strike at those who are controlling their lives? I went to the West Bank and to Gaza before the invasion. I wanted to find out, is what the West calls terrorism a legitimate response for a nation forced to live under the control of another? To understand why such carnage unfolds, my journey started not in Gaza, but in the West Bank, the other Palestinian territory occupied by Israel in 1967. It includes East Jerusalem and sites holy to both Jews and Muslims. Parts of Gaza and the West Bank, excluding East Jerusalem, gained limited autonomy in 1993. 12 years later, Israel withdrew its army and settlers from Gaza. But in the West Bank, it retains a large military presence and over 200 Jewish settlements. Two communities are living side by side, yet inhabit parallel worlds. I'm on my way to a Jewish settlement near the city of Nablus. Nearly 500,000 Israelis live on settlements. They are illegal occupiers. Itamar was established 15 years ago by a group of Orthodox Jews who believe they own the West Bank, which they call Judea and Samaria. The town has a growing population with several hundred families. Itamar's mayor is Moshe Goldsmith, who moved here from New York. He gave me a tour of the town. This is the entrance to town. We passed a school there. What's up here? This is Main Street, is it?
Main Street is the main drag. Itamar is a community that is spread out of a huge, huge piece of land. Our goal eventually is to build a very big city here. And no one is going to stop us from achieving that goal.
Moshe expects Palestinians to stand aside while their towns are being constructed. But Palestinians have attacked settlers in Itamar. 16 have been murdered. The settlers are under the protection of the Israeli military and by law can carry guns. Moshe was taking me to the highest point that overlooks Nablus, the second largest Palestinian city in the West Bank. Jews call it Shlem, a biblical name. He brought with him a copy of the Jewish Bible, the Tanakh.
Abraham comes across this valley, settles there in the city of Shechem, and God says to him, this is your inheritance. And then he goes and says to him, lift up your eyes and see from the place that you are, to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. Everything that you see in this land, and he's standing on a high point, he's looking at the high land, the whole land of Israel. To you, Ednena, to you I will give this. Ulizaracha, and to your seed, your offspring. Ad olam, forever. This is our deed to the land. The Bible is our deed to the land of Israel. This clearly states, and those who read it carefully will find tens of verses that are referring to the Jewish right to this land. This is our deed.
You regard the Palestinians as kind of invaders or people who...
And other people passing through. But again, we're saying, listen, this is the deed, this is the proof. The entire world knows the truth. You can't hide the truth.
But the word truth is an abused word here. The truth is that Palestinians are living under occupation. I've come to a village called Tuba, just south of Jerusalem, and I've come to see a man whom I first met 12 years ago. At that time, a Jewish settlement was being built right opposite him. In those days, there were bitter protests, but the protests failed, and the settlement is now complete and looms over Tuba. I came to see Aziz Abutir and his father, Ibrahim. They invited me for a Bedouin meal of lamb and rice. Their house now is overlooked by the Israeli settlement called Ha Homar. Amazing coming back now and just seeing this view of, I mean, it's like a medieval castle, isn't it?
It's a fortress, actually.
I think the bulldozers had just started when I was last here. I remember all that hill.
They started building their monstrous houses.
But, I mean, having to stare at this every day, and it's like some, I mean, it's a statement, isn't it? It's a statement made in rock.
They colonized the top of the mountain to dominate all the villages around.
How does your father feel when he wakes up and sees that in the morning?
Sorrow and sadness. That's all we feel. Sorrow and sadness that we couldn't stop, we can't change.
كان هذا مفج إن كنا لما في الأوقات هذه كنا نزرع نقلع نجيب الزرع نجيب الإشي حكيت نطلع
farm the land. We have nothing left. The village is closed. It's surrounded by this settlement, this road, this wall. There's nothing for us left. You know, I mean, you can't even find land to build for your sons, for your grandchildren.
Jewish settlers are deaf to such suffering. Do you think there's a reason why that Itamar was attacked and that people felt such a burning anger inside that they went in and they killed women and children in your town? I mean, do you understand?
Unfortunately, again, it's so unfortunate to think about it again. So you bring me back to those terrible, the black days of people being murdered. Unfortunately, I was on the scene of these terrible terrorist attacks. And to think about how people could actually send their family to go and commit suicide and come and kill, you know, for no reason, killing Jews. And
well, where does that anger come from then? Do you not think it has a cause?
I'm saying, of course, that anger has a cause. But unfortunately, the anger that's been going on, all this was created by the leaders that have been leading their nation astray. And I'm saying this whole lie that the nation is trying to teach them, that Israel belongs to them, not to Jewish people, brought upon themselves these terrible tragedies. If they would really understand the truth that it's a Jewish nation, and you educate them from the beginning, this is a Jewish nation, we are here.
And what do you want from them then? Sort of submission?
To be citizens, normal citizens of Israel, living their lives, working, raising their families in peace with us. Not to murder, not to steal, not to kill. You're in a Jewish country, in a Jewish state. No one's saying leave, but accept the rule of the Jewish nation.
Such are the demands of an occupying power. For the family in Tuba, it's an unacceptable demand.
Another settlement is being designed. Another settlement is being built. Another enlargement to this area.
While the lives of many Palestinians in the West Bank have been shattered, in Gaza, their plight is much worse.